Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and tonight we are live and Rachel is in the house. Tonight we're just going to have one of our discussions. God knows where it's going to go, but get it in the chat. Please chime in. Here we go.
Talking bands no one talks about. Grant's Rock Warehouse.
And we are in the warehouse, and I've got Rachel's Ghost in the house with me today.
Oh,
We're doing this chat once a month, and this is like our third chat, I think.
that's our third one, and I really enjoy it. It's a great opportunity. It's so much different than my own show, which is nuts. And so this is nice and calming and wonderful. And boy, okay,
Well, pretty much what we do over here, we like to talk bands that no one talks about. If anybody, and we're going to do that to some degree because really no one talks about this band, but we try to do. DC Collins was here. We're doing a show at 7, for God's sakes. We're going to do Born to Die by Grand Funk, and we ended up in some kind of feedback loop. And I was asking Rachel about that. You know, when you go live, and considering as many people that come on your channel, there's always something that's bound to act up. But
yeah,
I couldn't get it rectified. So, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow at 8 o'clock, DC will be back, and we will do Born to Die. So tune back in tomorrow for that. But since Rachel's here, and I thought, well, I was ready to talk some Grand Funk. We won't talk Born to Die, but we could do a little Grand Funk. And I asked Rachel, I said, Rachel, you talk some Grand Funk.
Yes, let's talk Grand Funk Railroad.
So see, I was one of those people. And if you've been watching the series, I'll just reiterate real quick.
You know what? I got 2 Grand Funks.
Go,
So
I'll talk.
I'm going to go over there and get even more Grand Funks.
Go get more.
All right.
So anyway, if anybody has watched, I'm not a big Grand Funk guy. So far, the ones that I like are Shining On and We're American Band, and All the Girls in the World Beware's not bad, but that's pretty much it. And like I said tonight, we were going to do Born to Die, but we're going to have to do it tomorrow. Things happen when you're going live, but I'm glad I feel good that everything is good right now, so we're good.
Okay.
But you know, I like to bring Rachel over here so we can talk to music. And I thought, well, what the hell? I'm kind of geared up about talking Grand Funk, and let's talk some Grand Funk. So, Rachel, what's your whole background with Grand Funk? Were you like a big fan back in the day? I mean, how do you look at that band?
I had of the 45 of We're an American Band. So this is the album, Grand Funk, We're an American Band. This thing is rock and roll. This is pure rock and roll. You know, Sweet Sweet Connie and Tour actually had the whole show, and that's a natural fact. And so it's a true story of the band on the road in the life. I love that. So that 45 was my first introduction. But then this one, and this album is super hard to find with the goggles in them, but you were mentioning it already. Shine On.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
And where's the goggles? The 3D glasses are out, but it's got Locomotion on it, which was a big hit for them. And they were a great live band. They were on Midnight Special. They were on In Concert. So they made the scene. They were part of the environment. 8 tracks. Grand Funk made its way to a lot of 8 tracks in cars, and they were party music. They were house party music. They were part of the background of Teenage Rebellion for me. So, but we're an American band. I mean, that is pure rock and roll, right?
Well, yeah. And when I came into it, when DC and I were doing the series, I'm just like, oh man, I don't know. But he thought a good gateway drug would be to look at Shining On first.
Okay.
And I think that Todd Rundgren, though, I don't know how you feel about it, but I think that I'll go on record, and I had before, that Todd really knew what to do with Grand Funk.
Rundgren's an interesting guy, independent of all things anyway, just because of his own musicianship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking at all the tunes on here.
But I think
little Johnny Hooker.
Yeah, DC shall return. We will get our Grand Funk episode out tomorrow.
Yeah. Now, was DC Tune Time? Was it DC Tune Time, or was it another cat?
No, DC Tune Time.
Okay, I love DC Tune Time. He's a comic book guy.
Yep.
He's a rock and roller too. So he's kind of like me because I love comic books and I like sort of thing. But Grand Funk was fantastic. What about for you? Were you a rebellious teenager? Were you a young kid?
Me? No. Yeah, I was not rebellious. I was a good kid. I never caused my parents any grief at all.
Oh, man, I was out there. That's maybe why Grand Funk may have been a bigger thing for me than for you, because it was that I was so angry with the world and, what's going on, teenage lament. That was kind of my thing.
Grant, Darkroom Wizard. Grant likes to let's talk Grand Funk Railroad. I've seen 4 times the original members and tours. My God, look, I've never seen them live. First concert I went to in 71. I would get their LP, so I would have them. That's good. And of course, Marlon here loves it. I do love it when Mark Farner goes shirtless. I just wish the guy'd put on some clothes.
Farmer was in as a young guy. What shape was that guy in? So they were a great live act, a lot of motion and movement from the band. He was not a tall guy. He's kind of a little guy, but lots of energy with that band. They had a great look. And where are they from originally? Where's Grand Funk from?
Flint, Michigan.
Flint, Michigan. I thought they might be a Michigan band. Yeah. It's a good record. Go ahead.
Dan, the Born to Die video didn't go. DC and I had some audio issues. We're going to do it tomorrow night at 8:00. So tune in there, Dan. But
tell me about Born to Die. What's the story on that? And why were you guys going to discuss that album?
This is what we've done so far. We've looked at Shining On. We've looked at We're American Band. We looked at the live album.
Oh, Grand Funk Live?
Actually, we never really looked at We're American Band. We kind of talked about it, but we talked about it. I think We're American Band goes hand in hand with Shining On. It's like part 1 and part 2. But we kind of did it backwards. We weren't going to do a series. But then I kept hearing stuff. I'm going, well, okay, I dig We're American Band and Shining On. Let's throw me something else. And we did a Pluribus Funk. And so far, there you go. I'm much more of a fan of the Todd Rundgren stuff after.
Yeah.
I just think that everything's a lot more polished. And I think they really stand out as musicians on that stuff too, because I don't know, that foot stomping era is a little bit much for me. It's just kind of repetitive.
They're another R&B based band, straight ahead rock and roll. There's not much anything fancy going on with them.
Yeah.
Power trio. They're definitely kind of the definition of a power trio.
Now, we haven't looked at that record yet.
Yeah. Closer to home, folks.
Yeah. Is there a certain favorite you've got? Is there a certain era of Grand Funk that you dig?
Well, American Band. That's my introduction to the band when that 45 broke. As a teenager, I was all into 45. So when I hear Grand Funk, it takes me right back then. Shine On was, again, house party music. But, it's like the same thing with Foghat, Slow Ride. It's all in that vein. It's really just, rhythm and blues, guitar, bass, drums, rock and roll, right?
It's really not that far from Foghat. And Foghat I could never really get into. I like the singles.
Yeah.
I like Stone Blue. I think that's an okay record. I could never really get into it. It always seems so repetitive and a lot of the same thing. Someone in the comments, please tell me what I'm missing. I don't know.
It's blues based rock and roll. So a lot of it had that kind of vibe, and you could put a lot of bands in that category 10 years after, So you go on extended solos, with the bass and drums driving it.
Yeah, right. I think the best thing that stood out even more is that Todd Rundgren was able, and DC can chime in if he's still here.
Yeah.
Todd Rundgren was able to look at Grand Funk, Rachel, and go, you know what? This Don Brewer is being underutilized. He's got a great voice. And they put him out more. By the time we get to Born to Die, everything, all the songwriting and the singing and everything's pretty much divided equally. And Craig Frost, who they brought in on keyboards during Phoenix, he's doing a lot of songwriting with the band. So I don't know. It seemed to me that it's more distributed equally, as they kept going, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's the producer's job to try and find the disparate elements in the band, put it together, make a cohesive whole, and present something marketable in it. Doug Kershaw was all over media, television in the 70s. He was the madman violin player. Doug Kershaw was an amazing guy. The heaviest stuff I was into, Marlon asks, I guess Zeppelin would be the heaviest I would be into. And also Black Sabbath. I love Black Sabbath. So had a lot of Sabbath and Kiss. I like Kiss as well. I never thought Kiss is that heavy. I think Zeppelin's heavier than Kiss.
Well, I
And
think a lot of the Kiss 80s stuff was more heavier. When they were trying to be, instead of Kiss being leaders in the 70s,
yeah.
they became followers. They just kind of did what everybody else was doing, you know? Yeah.
Well, that's the whole thing with bands. It's very hard to stay on the crest, riding the surfboard, so to speak, use that allegory, and being ahead of the pack. The Beatles were one of the rare exceptions, but keep in mind the Beatles are only running around from 62 to 70,
Right.
but they were able to do it during that period of time. They kept evolving, changing. Now we're doing Psych with Pepper. Now we're stripping it down. We're doing our White Album. Oh, we're going to go make it fancy again with Abbey Road. Oh, now we're going to go strip it down again with Let It Be, right? So
yeah, the other thing is we were talking about it on the channel, is that Todd Rundgren was able to look at the potential of Grand Funk and streamline them, take all the different pieces and equalize them to some degree. They really never had a producer because Terry Knight was the quote unquote producer of Grand Funk. But, you know, of course, they threw him out because he was swindling money from them. But Mark Farner and Don Brewer, I do believe in some interview had said that, well, we were producing ourselves. Terry was just twiddling the knobs, or they weren't sure what Terry was doing, but he wasn't really producing them. And I think once they had a strong producer that could utilize them.
And a strong personality to go with it if you're talking Rundgren.
Yeah. But they love Todd. They would go out for dinner. They just got along with Todd Rundgren great. You've heard Nightmares, of course, Rachel, where
XTC's story comes to mind with Rundgren. You know, but you get two strong personalities there. I think if you're more willing and to step back a bit and let him take charge of the picture, but these things have happened before where a producer comes in. Sometimes they're in one state of inebriation or the other. Who is it? John Cale from Velvet Underground. I forget who the hell. He was so wasted. He was trying to produce somebody, and it was just a disaster. Or Phil. Mr. Phil Spector with the Ramones, pulling a gun out on Johnny or whatever. I mean, it's just nutso stuff that happens.
Well, I'll tell you though, I'd like End of the Century though.
Yeah, it's a good album. Well, I like the song Danny Says We Gotta Go to Idaho.
Yeah, it's good. That might be the last great Ramones album, but I don't know 100%. I've got all of it, but it seems like after that, some of the magic left. They'll still produce great stuff. Don't get me wrong, but there is a certain sweet period. Like with every band, there's a sweet period.
I like what John says here. He goes Zeppelin, Stars, Nugent, Aerosmith, Uriah Heep, Deep Purple. Reviewed. I have all of them except Stars. I have no Stars in the collection. But Zeppelin, I got everything and multiple copies of. Ted Nugent, I've got Cat Scratch Fever and a couple other Nugents. Aerosmith, I got 6 or 7 of their albums. Oh hell! In fact, now I got a whole lot more because a whole bunch of CDs got dumped on me by my sister. Uriah Heep, I've got Magician's Birthday,
there you go.
And Demons and Wizards. Deep Purple, I've got Machine Head. That's the only purple I got.
I'm surprised you don't have more purple.
That's the thing. I love Machine Head. And I think what turned me off, this is going to sound really crazy. I'm going to get a lot of hate mail. This is the kind of thing you don't want to do on Bardo's show, is say that you don't like Made in Japan. My friend had I'm a kid. They had Made in Japan. And I listened to it and I listened to Smoke on Water. I go, this sounds like crap. It's nowhere near as good as Machine Head. I like the studio performance far better. And so, I got mad. I threw the record across the room. A yellow Made in Japan. I go, this is crap. Fuck it. Like that. So there you go.
DC does have a good point. You need to get some Stars. Do you remember the song back in the day? They had one hit pretty much. The song Cherry Baby, which is a power pop classic.
Yeah.
Michael Sweet.
I know who they are. Who they are. They had another hit. Stars had. What were the hits of Stars? What were some of the hits they had? I'll look them up.
I only remember Cherry Baby because I remember buying that 45 when I was a kid, and it was on yellow vinyl.
Stars band. And I got to go add band.
Detroit Girls. Dan says Detroit Girls. Wasn't Detroit Girls on the first album, or was that on the second one? I can't remember.
Power Pop from New Jersey.
Mhm.
They descended from Looking Glass with Brandy. Remember Brandy?
Yeah, Looking Glass.
So they come out of Looking Glass. Kiss manager Bill Aucoin was introduced to Stars via his right-hand man, Sean Delaney.
Mm-hmm.
This is a name I know. Bobby Massano. Guess who? Producer Jack Richardson. So they're connected in with a bunch of different name people. So let's go singles. Boom. Just Like Romeo and Juliet, 1975. Is that? Am I right about Just Like? Just Like Romeo. Okay, I know what that is. That's the one I know. Just Like Romeo and Juliet is a big hit. The Cherry Babies there in 77.
Mm-hmm.
Sing It, Shout It, Hold On Tight, So Young, So Bad. She's Just a Fallen Angel, but Just Like Romeo and Juliet was huge.
John Patterson and D Rocker are on the same page. Sing It, Shout It. Sing It, Shout It. Yes, it's a good song. Stars is very underrated. They deserved way more. And Ernesto brought something up too. He said, don't forget the band New England. Kind of in that same genre. Are you familiar with New England, Rachel?
New England?
Yeah.
No, don't know.
Oh my God. They put out a good record. They didn't get much of attention, but the first album they put out in 1979 was produced by Paul Stanley.
Oh, okay. There was our Kiss connection.
Yep.
Rachel, you had to be a Heart fan living where you do. Yeah, Heart got a lot of cachet around here because they were signed to Mushroom Records. Dreamboat Annie broke them big out here, and really for everybody. So Heart was great. Then they had problems with the Mushroom record label, like a lot of bands do with their label. But Seattle, American Girls, but they were playing a lot, and Vancouver kind of was their home away from home. And they got kind of their cult following started, the fan base ground swelling from local audiences in the Pacific Northwest here. So yeah, I'm in Nanaimo. If anybody's new to me here that doesn't know me, Nanaimo, British Columbia, Canada is where I live. I grew up here on Vancouver Island, mostly in Victoria, my hometown.
Speaking of Heart, we can go on a little tangent. What do you I think the productions on those records, Mike Flicker was the engineer.
Yeah.
I think those early era Roger Fisher albums, even Baby Lestrange, I'll put that in there. That was Mike Flicker. I just love his productions and the way things sound on those Heart records.
Yeah,
the guitars ring out, the drums are like real tight sounding. I don't know. I think the production's great.
Yeah, and Mushroom, of course, has a label, and Little Mountain Studio in Vancouver started getting a bit of a name for itself back then because of bands like Heart that were starting to make waves. And of course, whenever we get a something that's got a Canadian connection, makes it big in the US, we're always, thrilled to pieces up here. Yeah, Trooper is a Vancouver band.
Yeah, Trooper.
Yeah, I've seen Trooper in concert. I never did see Heart in concert.
What was the big Trooper hit?
We're here for a good time, not a long time. So have a good time. The sun won't shine anymore.
Won't shine every day.
It won't ever shine every day.
Raise a Little Hell. That's what I'm thinking.
Raise a little hell, raise a little hell. That's them as well. We will be the Santa Maria, searching for a brave new world.
But they didn't really take off here in the States at all.
Well, yeah, a lot of bands from Canada don't. That's the whole trick, is if you can break the American market, that's you go all the way. This is like Bryan Adams. Bryan Adams played my high school with Sweeney Todd. Roxy Roller. Roxy. I saw Nick Gilder play it. Then Bryan Adams took over. Bryan Adams couldn't sing the same register. So he's singing in my high school in Sweeney Todd. And I'm going, he sucks. He's no good. Crown Lands, I don't know, John. I don't know Crown Lands at all.
What's your thoughts on Max Webster?
Max Webster, yeah. Webster, now there's a guy I know. Of course, Kim Mitchell goes on from Max Webster. Max Webster, there's another band in the same vein as Grand Funk. These are rock and roll, blues-based bands. Nothing really complex about it, straight ahead rock and roll. The melody and all the catchy shit starts happening when Kim Mitchell goes out and does his own stuff. Then the hooks start coming, and you got this stuff that rises them above bar band kind of entertainment.
Yeah. The only thing that I really can even remember being wildly successful would be, Bachman Turner Overdrive. They did well in the States. The
Huge.
Guess Who did well. Of course,
Guess Who.
Rush. But I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of other. Well, of course, Heart. Well, of course, Heart wasn't Canadian, but
No, there are like for Canadian bands. I mean, it's more like our solo people. Neil Young, obviously, but you name them. There's not many that really, go into America and take it over, and do a great job of it.
oh yeah, Triumph had some success over here.
Probably regionally. I don't know if Triumph went coast to coast US. Maybe it would be more popular, maybe around the Great Lakes area, something like that.
They were on FM rock radio. They played a lot of Triumph. You couldn't escape it, but it was catchy. That Rick Emmett, quite a talent.
John, where was your high school? Because Sweeney Todd played my high school twice, which is kind of funny. And the first time was with Nick Gilder, and the second time was with Brian Adams. Loverboy's out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Loverboy was great. And they sure hit it big in the 80s. They did a great job. Killer Dwarfs. I don't know if Killer Dwarfs did anything stateside. Metal band, Canadian metal band. A lot of fun.
Yeah, I did a listening party where I was playing all Canadian artists, and I played some of that, and it wasn't too bad. They only had the one hit here. I don't think it was even a big hit. Killer Giants.
Saga being mentioned. Saga maybe a little bit.
Little bit, not really. They had like one hit over here, like at 83, 84.
Yeah. Well, we had like a lot of one-hit wonder type things. Like we had the Poppy Family, Which Way You Going, Billy, which knocked off The Long and Winding Road for #1 spot on the charts. Which Way You Going, Billy, Poppy Family, and then Terry Jacks 74. We had Joy, we had Z's and the Sun. That thing was a monster hit, one-hit wonder for him. But we had other groups like Evil Gross in the Dark from Poppy Family, which is a great song, 1971. That got a lot of traction.
Oh
yeah, Dirty Weapons, the album by Killer Dwarfs is great.
Is that the one where Dirty Weapons? What's on the cover of that? I can't remember.
Long-haired dwarf, long-haired guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Long-haired guy, 4 guys. I think they're like a 4-piece.
Marlon's Got It. On the Loose, 81, 82. That was a big hit in the States. But that was the only thing.
Joni Mitchell, Canadian Stampeders were great. I love the Stampeders. Carry me.
Oh, here we go.
Home to Birmingham. They were great. They did. Oh, my lady, there'll be time for reflection and regret.
All right, Rachel, do you remember Half Back?
No, I don't remember Half Back. But John sounds like there's some overlap with us, but he knows some stuff that I don't know. The Kings, yeah, they made it on another one-hit wonder. The Kings with Switching to Glide, and it was a 2-part song. I've got the album. It's good.
I've got the second album too. I've got the CD too. That's on Wounded Bird. It's got both records on it.
Or whatever it is, the Amazon album. I got that one.
Amazon Women. Wait a minute, Amazon something. I thought it.
I think that's it. I can check on my Discogs, and I'll get the name of it. The Kings.
Yeah, I don't know full
the
back.
Kings.
Stone.
Yeah, the Kings are here, which is the other one's Amazon Beach. Amazon Beach from 1981.
Okay, Amazon Beach. Yeah. I know it had like those 3. It was like a cartoon with those.
Yeah. There was one of the album covers. Yeah, absolutely.
And both of those records were produced by Jack Douglas.
Jack Douglas, of course, legendary John Lennon. It comes to mind. Of course, our own George Borden, Vinyl Community member, has worked with Jack Douglas as well, which is quite the kudo for him. Quite the thing. Sweet City Woman was a huge song for them. Sweet, 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 sweet city.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's the Stampeders. Yeah.
I didn't know who it was. Oh, Ernesto. Yeah, you're right. Honeymoon Suite. They had a couple hits down here. New Girl Now and Feel It Again. Big hits.
Still in Love. I'm still in love. I'm still burning in love.
John, is that true?
What did I say to you?
Did Bob spend more time producing the Kings' first album than he did on Kiss the Elder?
Possibly. Canadian guys. Stonebolt. I got Stonebolt in the collection. D-Rocker. I think I've got one Stonebolt album. They're also from Vancouver. Corey Hart was huge. Corey Hart, hey, listen, man. I wear my sunglasses. That went huge.
I don't know much about Corey Hart's past though. All he did, he had some records out. Only the one sold here in the States. Was he like in a band before, or he's just a solo artist?
I think he's a solo guy, and he almost, I mean, to me, he seems kind of fairly manufactured. He always came across looking fairly manufactured. Who was I thinking about? Corey Hart around the same time when he was big. There was another Gowan. Lawrence Gowan, now with Styx. And of course, he had his own solo career. And one of the coolest things as a Canadian and being a huge Yes fan, you'll know where I'm going, is Moonlight Desires, where they're on the Aztec or the pyramids in Mexico. And these moonlight desires haunt me. They haunt me. April Wine.
Oh, yes, of course. How could I forget April Wine? I did a whole damn series on April Wine.
April Wine's a fantastic band. I saw them around 84. And my buddies, I remember my buddy said, I got tickets. Do you want to go? I said, April Wine, really? And by that time, they was like, we were 10 years out of their height. But I said, okay, we'll go. And
but 84, though, that would be Animal Grace, wouldn't it? I think.
I can't even remember.
Animal Grace.
What album it was. Suffice to say, they were so professional, so good. They blew me away because I went in with zero expectations. In fact, if I went with any expectations, they would have been negative. They were so good, and I was already a fan, but I just thought I'm seeing a band that's past its time, right?
Well, I saw them on Harder Faster tour when I was a young lad, so that made a big impression. When they did the triple guitar solos, like in Roller, they were all over it. And
they were amazing. Of course, at their height, like it was like all the world's a stage. They had a giant Mad Hatter on stage. It was a giant, what do you call it? Animatron, this robot thing. It would be moving while they're. This was a great time of shows that were part of rock and roll. It was so good. Aldo Nova, I love Aldo Nova. I've got Project Aldo Nova, the one with Monkey on My Back, which he had a minor hit with.
Yep.
Well, I thought it was a great song.
Yeah, I've got like 4 of his albums. We did a show on my channel where we looked at Aldo Nova's albums.
Yeah, I've just got the one. That was the one for me from him.
Fantasy back in the day was one of those things. Whenever I hear the song Fantasy, I think of being at the pool, playing Fantasy over those crappy pool speakers in the summer. Fantasy just to me sounds like a summer track to me. That takes me right back. Takes me right back.
Pat Travers, I've got in the collection. Aldo Nova, anyway, as you mentioned, is great.
That second Subject is a good album. It's kind of proggy, kind of more experimental. That's a good record. I like Aldo. I wish he had put more stuff out. Wait a minute.
Isn't that sweet? That's DJ Trish.
Sure. All right. You can.
Sweet people you're ever going to meet.
Yep. Oh, Klaatu. Well, how could we forget Klaatu?
Yeah, Klaatu, of course. I've had the pleasure of interviewing Terry Draper a couple of times, helped promote him. A very nice guy, very down to earth. And of course, Terry Draper co-writing Calling Occupants, which done by the Carpenters, of course. And they did very well with that.
It's an audiophile classic.
BTO were Canadian heavy metal gods. BTO, well, they were sure popular. I mean, we called it trucker rock. How can I get to heaven if my wheels won't turn?
It was heavy.
Trucker rock. Yeah. Oh, Nash the Slash. I loved him. He was great fun. But I don't think Nash the Slash ever broke into America,
D-Rocker, we played some Harris Scarum. Maybe you're the one that wanted to hear that when I did that Canadian live stream. That was a good band. You know them, Rachel?
Which one? Say
Harem Scarum.
So I know the name. Who's any names in there that we would know?
I don't know. I don't know them well enough. I just played one of them.
We had Doug and the Slugs out of Vancouver, minor hit, a couple of things. Also, Rock and Hide with Dirty Water. They had a hit with that in the 80s. Of course, the band is the biggest Canadian band. Canadian-American with the Levon Helm on the kit. But pretty good. Hey, look, it's Rob the Wax.
Oh, my goodness.
Holy smokes. He's really popular.
We should get Rob on here.
Yeah,
Could you imagine?
Yeah, would you like to be on a TV show one day? Anvil and Tease were great. Yeah, Anvil. Isn't there a documentary, a rockumentary, a mockumentary on Anvil? Let me know in the comments.
Oh, Anvil.
Yeah.
What about Kick-Axe? Do you know anything about Kick-Axe?
I know the name.
Yeah.
What's it here for exciting content? Well, we're starting controversy right now. There's so much going on in the vinyl community. Grant and I are putting an end to it right here tonight. It's all happening here. And you won't believe the stories. The background stories are incredible.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, let's see. Prism.
Yeah,
Prism's another band. People speak highly about Prism, but I haven't heard any.
I saw the drummer. No, who was it? It was it was the drummer from Prism, the lead singer from Streetheart, and the bass player from Headpins, and they formed this kind of super group power trio. And it was at a place called The Barn in Calgary, and it was the wildest gig I'd ever seen. The drummer actually blew out his kick drum because he was hitting it so hard. They were the loudest, most energetic thing I'd ever seen. It was absolutely the personification, the definition of a power trio. It was absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Very mysterious.
Very mysterious. I'm a very closely guarded secret in the vinyl community.
So Prism, do you know Prism?
I hailed from Windsor.
Do you know Prism?
Yes, I know Prism. Yes, do I have any Prism? I might have Armageddon in the collection.
Dark Wizard keeps mentioning Helix. You know, we did a show on Helix on my channel.
Yeah. Dark
Wizard. We did 3 different separate shows.
Yeah, Harlequin, another Canadian band. Harry's music. We got a similarity, don't we? Because we got the same kind of, the plaid, the long hair.
Well, if you wore a hat like Mazzy, you'd be like Elmer Fudd.
And he does have a kind of a hunter thing with the hat.
He likes it.
And all that. Lee Aaron, Ontario, proud. Absolutely.
Wasn't she a guitar player? She was a metal person, right? Metal queen.
Metal queen.
John, whatever happened to her? Because she was kind of a big deal back in the day, but I got mad.
Actually, here's one I just picked up today. Boom, boom, boom. Here it is. Headpins.
Oh.
Headpins with Too Loud McLeod, Brian, Too Loud McLeod on there. This is great. Don't it make you feel like dancing? Don't it make you feel all right? Well, they had a bit of a hit with that one.
Headpins was great according to Marlon, and Marlon hates everything. But
Headpins was great.
He likes Headpins.
All right, man.
So what's that sound like? Is it it sounded like you were singing like a disco song there for me.
It's rock. No, it's rock, but it had down. It's got that big bass. It's very 80s band, very 80s sound, but they're like more on rock. And female lead vocal, Darby Mills, very very strong female vocal, a screamer, a yeller. Yeah,
Headpins didn't do anything in the States at all, just a blip.
Yeah, exactly. And some of these bands are like that, where they'll come out, they'll do some background work. Chilliwack, I've never seen Chilliwack, but I have seen Bill Henderson, the main songwriter, the driving force behind that band. And before they were Chilliwack, they were the Collectors, a psych band. They had the Lydia Purple, great song, a lot of fun there. Ron Beaudry in the house, Rockin' Ronnie.
There he is.
Yeah.
Hey, nice to see you. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah.
DC says Marlon doesn't like any old crap. You got to earn his love.
Holy smokes!
Just not just anything. Yeah. He's very truthful and blunt.
Third one, Head Over Heels. I've got a couple of Headpins albums in the collection. I don't know if I got that one. I'll look it up. Headpins. The other one I got is Head Over Heels. I've got Head Over Heels in the collection. 1985. And in fact, I've got a US pressing on that.
Oh. So do you have everything in Discogs? You've probably talked about this before.
I do put a lot of my stuff in Discogs. It's very handy, especially in the vinyl community when we're doing a lot of contests and stuff. Show me an album, fill in the blank, and then you go to Discogs. It helps kind of find your way through it pretty quickly.
Yeah, I need to get
Like
stuff in there.
D-Rocker, I've got head over heels, as it turns out. Gowan was huge before Styx. Well, Strange Animal was that big breakout album for him, which was really big. And it had Strange Animal on it. That's the one that Steven Crowder, if anybody knows who he is, Steven Crowder uses that at the beginning of his program. And also, it's got Criminal Mind on that album, which is pretty good.
One more time. I'm not familiar. You could play me a Headpin song and I wouldn't know what it is.
I like Biff Naked as well. Biff Naked with Spaceman. That was a great little song. And of course, with the punk scene, we had DOA. We had Dayglow Abortions from Victoria. So those bands did break into the punk scene in the U.S. So that's pretty cool. But it was always big for us as Canadians. Like when we had the Guess Who, they'd show up in concert or night special, and they'd unfurl the Canadian flag, and we'd go represent, because it was so hard for Canadians to make it down there, and were always subsumed or in the shadow of the juggernaut, the cultural juggernaut that's the United States.
Right? Marlon, we need to see you on Sunday. You can handle power pop. Come on, you've been on these shows. You'll come by.
Yeah,
but. We did briefly mention Bryan Adams. Of course, Bryan Adams was huge here in the States.
Bryan Adams made it huge. Yeah.
I love Cuts Like a Knife. I think that's a great record.
Yeah, I've got Cuts Like a Knife and Reckless were the two big ones that kind of followed back to back. And he did the duet with Tina Turner while she was at her height.
Yeah.
And so, he was just hitting all the right.
What was it? Run, something with Run in it. Run.
Run to You.
That's what it was. Run to You.
If you feel all right, I'm gonna, be all night.
That's a big single.
You. Yeah.
I got to get a boil lanced. Well, Marlon, that sounds like a personal problem.
Good Lord.
You might need to see a specialist for sure.
The vinyl community can be so intimate.
I didn't know he wanted to. I didn't know Marlon wanted to share.
Holy smokes.
Run to You. That's it.
I love the thing I like about Run to You is it's got that great chorus in it. He used a chorus pedal. That's incredible. That tone and sound he gets out of that part is great.
Oh, you don't have to get a boil lance.
Boil on Sunday. It's going to happen on Sunday.
Brian is a great photographer too. I had no idea.
I did not know that either. I did not know.
I mean, I think his first, I don't know, Cuts Like a Knife, and what was the record after that? Reckless. Those are good records. And I don't think he ever put out anything quite as good as those. Some people like Bryan Adams, some people don't. I mean,
he's highly, he's one of, he's because I think he was played so much, and he had that big breakout year, 83, 85, in that period of time. He was all over the airwaves and MTV and everything. And I think people got sick of it, quite frankly. Like, oh, he's overplayed. I'm sick.
Dan's back to talking Grand Funk.
Yeah.
Dan likes Grand Funk.
Oh, that's a funny album. Yeah. I mean, the cover on that thing, All the Girls in the World, that is a great cover. That is a funny.
That's a very R&B record. Very R&B.
Interesting. Yeah.
And, Born to Die is the opposite of that record.
Painter, self-titled.
I don't know that. I don't know that one.
West Coast Women. We had different bands like, what was his name? Ian Thomas, Dave Thomas from SCTV, his brother Ian Thomas, Painted Ladies and a Bottle of Wine, Mama. He had a hit with that. And Bruce Coburn, Wonder Where the Lions Are. I think that made it into the States. Wonder Where the Lions Are.
Yeah, Ron, you kind of missed the Grand Funk talk. What's your favorite Grand Funk record? Is it that one? See, that they're just not sophisticated enough, but I do appreciate it. I think that one's okay. See, that record I didn't care for.
This is yours. This is the one.
That's my favorite. I think the first track, Shining On just absolutely rips.
Yeah. But those are the only four I have. Like, I like Grand Funk, but I'm not a super fan or anything like that.
I think we mentioned Mahogany Rush, I think. I could never get into them.
Yeah.
Good Things Off of Born to Die is my number. Okay. All right. I like, what's the Guinevere? What's the instrumental? I don't have my, wait a minute. Guinevere.
On which album?
Born to Die. What a killer.
Yeah.
It's just an instrumental. It's wonderful.
Yeah, there we go. Closer Home's the live album. This thing here, Closer Home. So
yeah.
I got
I'm your captain.
Yeah, Green Capital. And I think I've got a US press here, I believe.
P-Funk is the only valid funk.
Good Lord.
Rabbit. DC.
But yeah, I mean, Ron Boder's a classic rock guy. You know, he grew up with it all.
Yeah, in case you were going to tune in tonight, God knows who was going to tune in, but tomorrow at 8 o'clock, DC Tune Time will be back on the show. We gave it a run tonight, but we had technical issues and we couldn't do it. But tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we will be looking at Grand Funk Railroad, Born to Die. And that'll follow right after the live stream on the Contrarians. So, and on the Contrarians, we're doing horrible 90s album covers. So we've all go around, we compile 10 album covers that we think are absolutely hideous. And we're going to talk about
I think, you know what, John, was that the one at Vancouver at the PNE Canada Jam 78 with Bob Welch was there? Bob Welch was there. Rod Stewart played it. Canada Jam 78. If that's the concert, my buddy went, my friends all went to that en masse, like about 4 or 5 of my friends went in a group. I didn't go to see it. But if that's the one over at the PNE in 78 Vancouver, I think that might have been, and I remember them telling me about Bob Welch, saying he was actually pretty good.
There's footage that I saw live. It's probably from that tour, but Lindsey Buckingham's backing him up, and Stevie Nicks is up on stage with him. So look for that on YouTube. You can. It has to be from that era. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it was an amazing time. Are you more of a 70s kid or an 80s kid for you, Grant?
Oh boy, what my sweet spot?
Yeah, well, or what do you? I mean, when are you doing your growing up? What decade are you like a teenager in? More.
Well, I would the 80s.
Okay,
but my first lover is the 60s.
See, I'm born in 58. So I'm a teenager in like 73, right? 72, 73. So I'm coming in 71, I'm 13, right? So, you know, I mean, what albums came out in 1971? You know, it's a veritable, you know, who's who of legendary albums came out in 71.
I mean, I turned 15 in 1980, so.
Yeah. And I got married for the first time in 81.
There you go. See?
Yeah. So just slightly with a different thing. Is the Boyle talk over? It seems like it should have had more airtime. Holy smokes!
What's that?
The words ruin music is Charles. Right down at the bottom, the latest comment.
Oh,
that one there. He was very engaged with Boyle talk.
I don't buy that Marlon's going to get a Boyle lacerated. I somehow think he was joking, but he might. You never know.
So I consider myself very fortunate. I have been born in 58 because all these acts came out during the 70s and everything. Everything was happening. All the best records came out in 73, Rach. Everyone knows that. 73, I obviously, 73, the first album comes to my mind. That year, $1 Billion Babies. That was probably the biggest album I got in 73. What year did Jethro Tull's Bungle in the Jungle, that single come out?
70, isn't that 74?
That might be 74. Yeah, Welch gone far too soon.
Ernesto got a sub. Everybody, Ernesto got a sub.
Thank you, Trish. And John's giving me an update on Summerfest 78.
Okay.
Oh, Kansas.
Commodores.
I'm a huge Kansas fan. Love Kansas, especially Left Overture, my favorite. But Point of No Return, very good as well. And I think it's what is Incommunicado or Communication, Excommunication, something like that. I forget the name of it. I've got it in the collection. But the first two were the big ones for me. Point of No Return, and especially Left Overture.
And then after that, everything kind of fell apart. Not really.
Well,
kind of.
yeah, I mean, well, because of different different events in the band's life and stuff. I think Kerry Livgren, becoming a Christian was a big thing. It's very divisive in the band and different directions, right? I forget the
What is it? What's the record that came out in '80?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I'll get it because
something visions.
Oh, Power Visions. Okay.
Power Visions. God, my brain today.
Well, it's late in the day and we're covering a lot of material.
I know.
Let me go. Okay, over here, my collection, Kansas.
Audio Visions. Thanks, Marlon. Marlon is all over it. He probably hates this record, but he knows what it is.
Oh yeah, Vinyl Confessions. That's the one I remember.
I don't care for that record.
I liked it. I liked it when
Okay.
it came out. Yeah, because what was the song I liked? Played the Game Tonight.
Yeah, that was
like that one.
commercial. That was the last one with Livgren on it too, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah. No, Kerry Livgren's on it. 1982. In fact,
Ernesto loves it.
Well, I love that album too. I thought it was really good.
Marlon, best Kansas album. Quick, hurry. What's your favorite? Love Triumph.
The Game Tonight was big after. I think Livgren was with that. Play the Game. I think Livgren's in there.
Maybe he is.
I think Livgren's on that.
What's
Play
his
the
name
Game
left? The guy lost his voice.
It's written by Danny Flower, Kerry Livgren, Phil Ahart, Rich Williams, Rob Fraser. So it's a band-written song. Kerry Livgren's still there.
Marlon, that seems like low-hanging fruit. Everybody chooses that one. I thought maybe you were more of a purist, and you would have chosen Max.
Point of No Return. I tell you, do you have a favorite song other than, Dust and Wind is so big, but I love the song He Knew. He knew more than me or you. What was he pointing to?
But the thing is, during that era, though, they could really write. It could be progressive, but it was accessible and it was catchy.
Yeah.
Not all. Genesis. Well, no, that's not a good.
Are you
example.
a Genesis fan?
I like. Well, my Genesis, my favorite album is the 1980s. People are going to get upset.
Don't know.
But they should already know it. They should already know because I've said it before. My favorite Genesis album is the 1983 album with the Shapes on it.
Shapes album. I don't know nothing about Genesis. I remember watching them in the 70s. I went, I did. They never grabbed me, even with Peter Gabriel. And I owned briefly Twist of the Tail and Selling England by the Pound. Two of their biggest albums, one with, Mr. Peter Gabriel, the other without. And I gave them away. I gave both albums away. I said,
you can never get into them.
Yeah, I couldn't. It didn't work. In fact, I like the one with "These are the hands that feed them." I like that thing. Superman, where are you now? I like that thing. That's a poppy, catchy tune. I like that.
Well, the thing is, how much could they do? How far could they push prog?
Yeah.
They got down to the three of them, and they probably went, well, what are we going to do now?
It's true. I was never a Genesis fan, but I like Yes. Yes is my band. Yes is my second favorite band of all time. And the mighty Led Zeppelin coming in the number 3 spot.
DJ Trish is coming with Abacab. She likes that.
Abacab, yeah. Is that the yellow one? Abacab, is that the gold colored one?
Abacab is the white cover that's got the splotchy paint on it.
Splotchy paint, white cover. Yeah. And Dan Gaucher.
Dan loves it.
Gaucher. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Abracadabra. I want to reach out and grab you. I liked him a lot too, Steve Miller.
My goodness. Did they do a follow-up on the one called Wipe the Puss?
Is that on the Boyle album?
The Boils of the South Wind. Must be.
Heads in the Santoni.
I don't know what the hell people are talking about.
Well, they have a language all their own. Annie is not a fan of Genesis, so I don't think they're crap. They just aren't my. They aren't my. What do you call it? Groove.
We have a real girl in the house, Rachel.
Hi, Annie.
She comes on. She's a regular.
Yay.
She talks music.
We love real girls. There goes a real one behind me.
Yeah, there's real girls everywhere. But she doesn't like Annie T, so you don't care for any Genesis at all? Is there anything that you like?
Yeah, like I say, I like that. That album, "The Land of Confusion." I like that.
I like it too.
But I'm not a big Phil Collins fan. But I
like
did.
Phil.
I mean, when he did, what was that? Phil Collins. Is it Face Value?
Yeah, that, like in 1980.
Or maybe a little later when the Miami Vice came out and they ran the music.
No Jacket Required, 1985.
I'll have to look at it. I think it was
red cover with his big round head.
Black and white with his big head.
Yeah.
I think it's called Face Value. Let me look.
Okay.
In the Air Tonight or whatever the hell it was.
Marlon. Funny.
Face Value.
The Annie T's very, very popular around here. Star's here too. We have yet another real girl.
Oh,
Star, sorry. Glad that you made it.
Yeah, In the Air Tonight. Oh Lord, I could be, with the drum roll and all that in there, the drum fill.
So, Star, what's your thought on Genesis? I know you're more of a metal hard rock fan, but whenever you come on here, you always talk about all kinds of stuff. You just love music. Star knows her stuff too. She had that. Her and her husband have a Kiss.
Oh.
I'm going to say a museum. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Their whole basement's full of Kiss memorabilia.
Favorite Kiss album for you, Grant?
Mine?
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I really do like The Elder quite a bit.
Oh, okay. See, for me, because again, it's going back to 74, and mine is going to be Dressed to Kill. It's the first one that I really gravitated and held on to. I like that one. And Hotter Than Hell, I got
those. My second favorite.
I was all into that, and then I was the right age for it. I'm like 15 and 16. I was the perfect age. And then I dropped them. They quickly, to my mind, I just the kind of kid stuff, and I started evolving and more Yes and that sort of thing. Moving on. Love Gun, yeah.
We used to complain when I was a kid about how those first two records sounded, but there's something about Hotter Than Hell and its poor sound quality that translates into the music. And I have to go on record that some of the stuff on there, as far as Gene Simmons songwriting, some of the best stuff he's ever written. Going Blind as a song is great. So Hotter Than Hell is like my second favorite.
Yeah, I got a big shout out to Mark Anthony Kay, who does Project Gemini. He's a kind of a symphonic metal guy, but he's got a Kiss podcast. So Annie or Star may know him from that, but he's a super nice guy. He's gifting me Kiss Alive, which is one of the great albums. I mean, you got to have Kiss Alive. And he's also sending me, it was going to be I forget the one with the round circle thing. With the flame.
Round circle,
whatever. Anyway,
Rock and Roll Over?
Rock and Roll Over.
Okay.
But he wasn't able to get that, so I'm going to get Destroyer instead. That's still, a lot of people like Destroyer, so I said that would be great if you could. And so he's gifting those to me. So I'm very grateful to Mark. So big shout out to Mark Anthony Kay. Super good guy.
What else?
Yeah.
I like the Kiss Live versions, every song pretty much.
Yeah, so that album, Dan, for the first time, I got to tell you, 2024, that album is finally coming into my my possession. My first concert, I think, I want to say the Hollies. I got the ticket stub, 1977, Memorial Arena in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. The Hollies came through.
Wow.
And they played all their hits. Of course, there's no, Graham Nash at that point, long gone. But 77, and even in 77, the Hollies were being viewed as being past prime time. But they were a great show, and they played all the hits: Carousel, Bus Stop, Look Through Any Window. And they did Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress to start kind of earlier. And then on the reprise, they did it with a kind of a reggae shuffle, which was kind of interesting. Not my favorite version of it, but the live version was good. Very professional, very good. So I'm going to put the Hollies. I also saw the Stampeders early on, around 77 as well. So I would have been like 19 for that. I could have seen Alice Cooper early. I could have seen T-Rex. That's the one I lament.
Holy
in
crap.
74, Mark Bolan came into town with T-Rex, but he was so wasted. Apparently, I didn't miss anything. He was so wasted. And they got their gear left. They lost it on the boat coming over. And so I had to borrow the gear from a local band in Victoria called Holy Smoke. I'm a huge Beatles fan. So for me, I got to make sure Sue's out of the way. Don't knock her over.
So, John, my first concert.
This is all Beatles here. And then this up to here is Beatles. And then this John, Paul, George, and Ringo.
Do you have a Butcher cover?
I don't have a, but I've got an Airsats Butcher cover. I got a picture disc Butcher cover, but I haven't bought the real deal.
I got a buddy that's got 3.
Harry's got frickin' 3 of them. Harry's Music Room's got 3. Yeah. Melinda Murphy's got 2 of them, I think.
I guess you just have to go look because a lot of people don't know what they are.
Yeah, and I would know how to find one if I got it. But yeah, I'm huge on Beatles, my favorite band of all time. I know a lot about them. I've read a lot about them, or a lot of books and all that sort of thing. They're my real passion. I mean, I could have been a Beatles channel, if anything. That's my entryway into the vinyl community, Grant, was seeing Joe Mayo and Larry Graves and all these guys talking about the Beatles. And then I saw Mazzy and different other people, and Ron Beaudry being influential for me.
Did you see the show? I can't believe you and I haven't talked about this.
Yeah, go.
I went on Larry Graves' show. He gave me an album to review.
Yeah.
Yoko Ono.
Yeah.
And I was blown away by it. I'd never heard it. I had an attitude that Yoko was horrible.
Yeah.
Hideous. And I came away, I gave that album a 7 out of 10. What was it? Something Universe.
Approximately Infinite Universe.
What a great record. And it's a 2 LP set.
Yeah.
The sequencing on it's great. You've got John Lennon is playing guitars, doing background vocals. What I understood is, at least on that record, he had very little involvement because he was worried about being deported by the U.S. government. So he was kind of checked out. Yeah, he sang background and played guitar, but this is pretty much Yoko's whole thing.
It is, yeah.
And what a great record.
Yeah, people don't know that, like with Plastic Ono Band, there's 2 versions of it. So there's the Yoko Plastic Ono and there's the John Plastic Ono. Of course, the John's the one that, gets all the traction. Yoko's a very talented person. She was classically trained at, there you go. She was classically trained musically at Sarah Lawrence College, big college. And also, of course, Linda McCartney also went there. And the question is asked, was I a fan of Paul McCartney? And Wings, absolutely a huge Paul fan. But John Lennon has always been my favorite Beatle, first and foremost. John first, then Paul, then George, then Ringo, in that order. But every one of them had songs and individual hits that really resonated, that at any given time was kind of like my favorite song to go to and play. And I still listen to a lot of Beatles stuff.
Marlon's going to take away my man card. Hey, the thing is, when I review these records, I'd never heard it. I try to get rid of every kind of, if I have a bit of negativity, I throw it out the door. People were giving me crap because I went on See a Train. Some people were. Some people like me, but I was on Hudson Valley Squares, and we looked at 4 metal albums, and some guy was on there bitching, Grant doesn't like metal. He doesn't know metal. Well, maybe I can review a damn record. I can tell you if it's not a piece of crap.
Was he somebody familiar with you, like from your channel?
He must not know what I've done metal on my channel. Yeah. He was just some ding dong.
I'm a metal pretender. Like, I've got some real thrash stuff. Like, I got Mission of Christ. This is a Victoria band. It's pure thrash. It's like real metal. It's like it's just screaming guitars, right? And play fast. It's just crazy, man.
But I was going to say, Star, did you see that episode on Hudson Valley Squares where we looked at Exciter, we looked at Anthrax, we looked at Man of War, and we looked at Metal Church?
Oh, Metal Church. Wow.
Well, Metal Church won for me. It was light years ahead of the rest.
Yeah.
And, you know, where we all pick stuff from 1984. I can review anything. I keep everything very objective, you know, and I'd rather go in and give a review of a record of that I've never heard before and hear it like it's brand new, you know.
I'm watching the crowd. They're hilarious. They're doing Green Acres references with Hooterville and down at the local store there. It's just like it's Mr. Druckers, Arnold's full. They're doing old Green Acres shtick.
Ernesto doesn't get it. Then Ernesto, why was my ranking the exact same ranking as Pete Pardo?
Well, I don't see Pardo as a metal guy. Is he a metal guy?
Yeah. Yeah, Star, yes, that was a great episode. Metal Church Kills. Star, be honest, because you know I love you. Okay. How did I do on that show? I want you're honest. I want you to be honest. Tell me how I did. It's a lot of work to go and see a Tranquility, but I get a big rush out of it. But we talked about that radio show. You get up on a channel 94,000 subs. Yeah. It's a different animal, and people are very, shall we say, critical. Not in the chat room. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, well, and it depends who knows you, or when they identify you. Such there's some people like whenever I just did a metal contest this morning, and I just kind of, I fake it as best I can.
Yeah, but you could, Rachel, in all honesty, you can listen to it and be objective. You can tell if a record is good or bad or mediocre. It doesn't have to maybe be something that you chose to listen to, but you can listen to the musicianship. You can hear the songwriting. You can hear the production. Yeah. So, look at all these music, like Robert Christgau. He reviews all this crap and he's not a fan of all this stuff. If you're going to review, you have to be very objective and be open to stuff. Yeah. And I will tell you that I will keep that Metal Church album and that Man of War album because I think they're both really good. And I was really surprised. And if I can go do a show and study a record and get blown away by something and bring it back and want to keep it, it's a win-win. If
it can hit you where you're living a little bit, then it really works out.
Yeah. It's like this Grand Funk. DC and I was talking about it, and I hated Grand Funk, and I said, well, I will be objective. I will listen. And when I heard Shining On, and I couldn't believe it. That was the same band.
It's amazing too when you see a band live. It can be a real eye opener because the energy's there and it's able to pass on. You understand why a band may have been signed in the first place because you're seeing them live.
But you know what, like Marlon, like if you listen to some of this Metallica stuff, if you listen to like what's the Brain Problem, For Whom the Bell Tolls, whatever that out, I can't remember. You can listen to that and tell that there is something special with that record. There was something special with Metallica. Maybe it's not someone's cup of tea, but you can listen to it and go, yeah, these guys really can write songs. It's catchy. The instrumentation is killer. And you can appreciate it. You don't necessarily have to listen to it. But a lot of these people that go around like, oh, Yoko, horrible. I did that. Really. Go into it and give it a shot. And that's the beauty of doing these shows and talking about these bands that no one talks about, because I get turned on to a lot of stuff I would have never heard before. It's wonderful. So I'm glad to have done Yoko with Larry. Mm-hmm. And it's great.
Super good guy. I love Larry.
Larry's good.
And really one of the first channels I ran across because I think the first thing I did on YouTube when I was starting to, this is YouTube, what's on here? And I said, well, I wonder if Beatles are on here because I'm such a Beatles fan. So that was one of the first things I looked up was the Beatles. And sure enough, and I found Larry and Joe Mayo and people like that.
Yeah, see, that's one thing I just won't talk about is the Beatles.
Well, that's okay because a lot of people cover it, Yeah,
so, what more am I going to add?
Well, and are they your favorite group of all time? Like I'm just so passionate about them. So I talk about them because that's where you're going to get the most emotion out of me when I talk about the Beatles, because I honestly love the band, right? I just get going. Yeah, Metallica, Ride the Lightning. I don't have that one. I got And Justice for All. No, I don't have Injustice for All. I got Kill 'Em All. I got Kill 'Em All. And I got the Black Album. I got Master of Puppets. So I think I've got three right now of Metallica albums in the collection.
Does anybody out here, because I had Scott Byron on the show, and people that watch my show know I had him on. He was the A&R rep for Zoo Entertainment. And when he worked for Zoo back in the day, when they brought in Tool into the, they all knew when they heard Tool that it was going to explode.
Wow.
They just heard them play and they knew.
They had it.
They had it, and they signed them immediately. When was that? Like in the early 90s? How long's Tool been around? Early 90s, probably 91, 92. Yeah. But look at them now. But I don't know. They've been around a long time, but very influential. And boy, they just knew it was going to be big.
Yeah, I actually don't have any Tool in the collection. I've got Perfect Circle, of all things. I got one Perfect Circle album. So that's kind of wild. Did I give Trudeau a chance? Yeah, absolutely, Marlon. I give everybody. You have to do something to me before I go, what? You know, I'm a positive person. I'm a glass is half full. I want to be positive. I'm a happy-go-lucky type. That's why I'm laughing all the time. But the thing is that when you do something to screw me over, then I go, what? Why are you doing that? Now I'm not happy. Yeah. And the question Ernesto asked about my channel name. How did you come up with the name Rachel's Ghost? My old channel was taken down. So I was known as Rachel the Music Ma'am. I'm transgender, post-operative. I had surgery, the whole bit. And so I thought, well, how am I going to tell people? Because they'll see this person going, and I don't feel like, doing girl voice, what I call girl voice, and, being with a more, demure presentation. I just wanted to fucking have fun. So I just said, screw all that. People are going to ask, why are you the ma'am? And then, so I figured, okay, I'll do this thing, because there was a trans woman that goes into a game spot, gets misgendered, freaks out. It became a meme. And she's going out the door, kicking over toys and stuff, going, you will call me ma'am. And I thought, the music ma'am, I want to do a channel about music. I'll do the ma'am. I make a little fun at my own expense. But that channel got taken down because I got a lot of people want to take it down. And they still do. A lot of people want to take me down now. So the channel got taken down through too much sex. Okay, we had stunty drawn things on there that shouldn't have been drawn, and all this kind of crazy nonsense was going on, and there was so much of it. And then one guy came on with an avatar, and I brought the avatar. You know how small avatars like now. What is that? What are we looking at with that? And I brought it up, and it was actually a coitus kind of situation in the person's avatar, but it was so small you'd never know until. And then it was there. Somebody took that picture of the avatar up on the screen because I said, "Oh, great," and they used that, and the channel got taken down immediately. I didn't bother appealing or doing anything. I just said, this might be a good chance to reorganize the house. Let's start over fresh. And I created, I'm coming back. So I'm dead. The old channel's dead, but now I'm back as a ghost. I'm Rachel's Ghost.
See, that's where I came on, was after that. And I can't remember. Oh, I know how I found you. Yeah. Because I had found Mazzy, and I thought Mazzy's show was great. And that's how I found you, from Mazzy.
Mazzy's fantastic. And what's funny is actually my distant cousin. I'm all into genealogy. And Mazzy was adopted. He doesn't know who his biological father was. And I'm pretty good at all this genealogy. So I helped him out. And he got his DNA test done and everything. I said, oh, let me look at this. And I ran it in. I looked around, and I found an individual in Washington State that I knew I was related to, and he matched. I go, this is crazy. Wow. So once I saw her, then I said, I wonder if he matches me. So I put me up, and no, he didn't match me. Then I put my biological mother up against him, and he matched her. And what that means is that the connection is further back in history. But he also matched my half sister, my older sister. So it's kind of crazy. But so somewhere in the past, generally, basically, it occurs in Pennsylvania. We have shared German ancestry in Pennsylvania is how we connect. So kind of cool. And I love the guy, and I had the great privilege of meeting him. And he's a really down-to-earth guy, and I love him a lot. And yeah, I consider him a friend. We disagree totally politically, but that's okay. I love the guy.
If I get out there to see my son again, I'll make sure that I try to hook up with Mazzy. He said, "Well, why didn't you call me?" Well, hanging out with my son.
He's a people person, right? He loves meeting people.
All right, so John Patterson has a hard-hitting question. So, Grant, what was your first rock concert? First rock concert was Foreigner on the Double Vision Tour, 1978. Ambrosia opened up. My folks drove me and my buddy to it. And my defining moment in music that makes the world go round was listening to the Beatles, I Want to Hold Your Hand, and She Loves You, when I saw them sitting in my neighbor's 45 rack in 1975.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I thought I saw the picture sleeves. Everybody knows this. I saw the picture sleeves and I went, wow, these guys look cool. I had never heard of the Beatles. My folks, Benny Goodman, they like Lawrence Welk. They didn't listen to pop music. They listened to pop music of their day, but nothing beyond that. We used to call the hippies, whenever we'd see the hippies on TV, we'd call them Goonie Birds. That's what we used to call them.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was my gateway drug, was getting those 45s, taking them home, playing them on my little record player, and it was like my whole world had changed. It changed. So there you go. That's why the Beatles are my favorite. It was just like I've never heard anything like it. She Loves You and I Want to Hold Your Hand. Give me a break. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, similar story. Being exposed to those songs and those 45s earlier for me in the 60s, like 64, 65, I was hearing those. But for me, my own Beatle gateway, the drug, when I became a Beatle maniac, crazy for him, was 73 with the Red Album. And I'd listen to that. My buddy lent it to me. And friends of ours had the album when I was over at their place, putting the headphones, taking me to a whole different world. Absolutely astounding.
That's my first record, Rachel, because when I heard those 45s, I begged my father, my mom, I said, I've got to get some, I have to, because I had to give those 45s back. I have to have this. They were able to give me money, and I rode my 20-inch bike down to Kresge's, and they had Beatles 62 to 66, and I had enough money for it.
Wow.
And so that was my first Beatles album.
And you open up that beautiful gatefold, the old church of St. Pancras there with the Beatles there.
I just lost it. I had it so bad. And everybody in the chat, you know how it was when you're a kid. When you're young, when you discover music, there is nothing like it. Your whole world changed because everybody here's a music geek. Everybody has a similar story. There's a show right there. What's anyone's story? When did the skies part?
Yeah.
You know,
for me, it's
I love it.
That album. Like, I mean, earlier, like the Beatles were always around, but I remember like 68 and somebody had Snoopy and the Red Baron on a 45, and then sitting next to it was Hey Jude. The kid goes, do you want to, my friend goes, do you want to hear Hey Jude, the Beatles? I go, no, please, Snoopy. I want Snoopy. Because I'm like, 60? I'm 10 years old. Of course I'm going to watch Snoopy. Yeah.
Superstar. Your dad was a Beatles fan. Wow. All right.
Very
Well, my
nice.
dad later on, he kind of got away from Benny Goodman, and he thought he was really into Wings, believe it or not. He thought all the Wings stuff was incredible.
Wings was incredible. It was beautifully produced. Songwriting stopped here.
Yeah, I would listen interchangeably. Wings with Beatles, and I was just fine with that because I thought, as a kid and everything shiny and new, what Paul was doing was absolutely it still is brilliant. But I thought it was brilliant there.
Yeah, we got Ernesto. We got 3 main stores or independent record stores near us. So big one is Fascinating Rhythm. There's Sound Heritage near me as well. And there's also a new one open up, Noise, Agony, Mayhem, which is a metal punk specialty store. Very boutique, very small. You go in there and it's all metal, all punk, nothing but. So I got Rat in the cellar or whatever it's cellar. Rat
Out of the cellar.
Out of the cellar. That with the girl on the floor hands and knees. That
Tawny
thing.
Katane. That's Tawny Katane.
Tawny, I got little Tawny.
Yeah.
She passed away, didn't she?
She
Like
did.
last year or something. And so yeah, I like that because Round and Round was a great song. I want to get that. I like Cinderella, the hair metal bands. I love Cinderella a lot. Just because Tom Kiefer was so cute, that guy. Holy smokes.
Well, what about like Great White? Do you like Great White? I mean, they're always putting that metal thing, but they seem more like blues rock.
See, Great White. See, I don't know much about them other than the Fire. That's about the, you say Great White, that's all I know about them,
DC says a Tawny could hurt you.
My God, she was just a little slight little gal. But she was
a Hank
David Coverdale. Wasn't she married to Coverdale?
She was.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I wanted to ask real quick, Russell. I didn't mean to go ahead, but we get on a tangent. Didn't you ask about, where is his question? He asked about the Linda McCartney record. Oh crap, where is it?
Oh, okay, up above, yeah.
Well, I can't find it. I've never heard it. What is it? Prairie something?
Prairie Oyster.
Do you have that?
I have no idea. Hey, you got another real girl here.
Yeah, that's my sister-in-law.
Hi, Sue, sister-in-law, Sue.
Thanks, Sue, for popping in. Please leave a like.
Yeah, please like and subscribe. That's really good.
My older siblings, my parents' records were, mine too. Mainly Reader's Digest collections.
Wow.
My sister had Magical Mystery Tour, and it cracked my head open. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That was my second, Russell. That was my second record. Was Magical Mystery Tour. I got it for my birthday. My cousin bought it for my birthday. Yeah. And I just listened to it, and I loved all of it. I loved all of it.
I remember buying those records like in the 70s, picking. Once I got the Red album, then I started getting a little coin, and then I started getting everything. And in those days, we didn't have access to the UK pressings. You go down to a local store. So in Canada, it was all the Canadian pressings, and most of them were on the orange label with the gold printing. There were those 70s iteration of the Beatles catalog that I collected, but I got them all. Boy, oh boy, did I collect them.
Russell, do you have Susie and the Red Stripes? He might. I don't know. Do you have Susie and the Red Stripes? Do you have any of the McCartney, the deluxe boxes? Do you have any of that?
No, I'm not as big enough fan for him. So John Lennon, I do. I just picked up the Plastic Ono, the deluxe CD, DVD, Blu-ray, Dolby Atmos thing.
John,
I know who they are. I was never into them, John. They weren't my thing.
That's just a poppy Tiger Beat band. That wasn't anything serious.
I was more like rock and roll. Like Zeppelin was cool. Black Sabbath was cool. The Who. I've seen The Who in concert. Eric Clapton I've seen. Rod Stewart I've seen. Yes, I've seen a lot of times. Seen Paul McCartney. Seen Ringo.
I saw Ringo like on his second.
Seen Bob Dylan a couple times. Bob Dylan fan. I just picked up another Dylan record today. I've got them all because I got up there. You just barely make out the red box. Like 42 albums in there. And then one of these cubicles, but on this side is like pretty much all Dylan. So I've got a lot of Dylan albums. I just picked up on vinyl. It looks to be a good, clean early pressing of it too. Yeah, I just picked up New Morning. Boom. And it had the shrink. I just took the shrink off of it.
Gasp, you took the shrink off.
Yeah, well, that's not doing me any favor. I'm going to put an outer sleeve and all the rest of it and look after it. 2i Columbia pressing, really good.
That's a 2i?
Yeah.
God, what year was that?
73.
God, that's pretty late.
Here it is.
Yeah. So, but is that a Canadian or is that US?
Yeah, it's Canadian. I think it's Canadian. I haven't looked yet.
I don't know when they quit doing the 2i's in the US. I think before that.
Yeah, Columbia Records Canada.
Nice.
Canada right under stereo there. But anyway, great to have it. If not for use on here. Great song. Of George Harrison covered it.
We did forget Alanis Morissette, Marlon. I know you've got all of her stuff.
Yeah, Alanis Morissette. God, Anne Murray made it big in the U.S. Elvis Presley's favorite female singer for Once Upon a Time.
Wait a minute. Rachel, would you go see the Beatles Avatar show?
No,
I would not either.
because it's done like yeah. The Beatles could be playing. They could rejoin and be across the street, and I probably wouldn't go see them. I'm done. I've hung up my spurs. I've done all the concerts. I saw Madonna at her height in like '87 on the True Blue tour. I've seen the Rolling Stones, Steel Wheels.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Al Stewart. I've seen Pink Floyd. I saw Pink Floyd during Division Bell. I've seen a lot of bands now at this point.
Gino Vanelli. He
Yeah,
did. He's always hanging out there.
Yeah, Gino Vanelli. It was Big Black Cars. It was a big hit for him.
I saw Ringo on I think it was the second tour when he went out back in 91.
It was with him.
Before that, was it late 80s? When did the first?
Who'd you see him with?
I think it was Joe Walsh.
Yeah, Joe's a perennial. So Joe's kind of goes out with every iteration of it.
No,
I saw Levon.
I'd have to look at it again. It's been a long time.
I saw him with Rick Danko and Levon Helm. So when they did The Wait, they sing the song The Wait. Yeah. You've got Levon Helm singing with Rick Danko. Danko has his bit. So you got the two voices of the song. Clarence Clemens, Niels Lofgren, Dr. John, Jim Keltner was there with that show. And of course, Joe Walsh did Rocky Mountain Way. Amazing. You could hear a pin drop. He captivated the whole audience. Unbelievably good.
You guys are all over it tonight. What time is it? We're going to wrap. I'm just going to go 10 more minutes. We're going to wrap it up.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. I saw Bowie for Glass Spider. It wasn't great.
I didn't see it. Help me. What didn't Peter Frampton play guitar in that?
Peter Frampton was there, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure Peter Frampton. You ever see Peter Frampton? God, he's so good.
Frampton was great. Yeah,
Frampton's so great as a guitar player. When you see him, even now, I think I saw him probably 4 years ago, before he quote unquote retired. He plays exactly what the song needs, and all of his phrasing's perfect.
Yeah.
He really should get more credit as a player. He's absolutely a wonderful guitar player.
He's one of the best.
Golly.
Yeah, he's very good. And people in the know. People in the know. Also, was there with Glass Spider was Tony Basil was in the background dancing around doing the choreography. That was wild. And she had already done, hey, Mickey, you're so fine.
And what else Tony Basil was in?
She was in Easy Rider.
Before that,
she was a Musketeer.
She was in the Monkees movie Head. She is dancing with Davy Jones in that black and white dance scene.
She's in Head. I got the album finally.
I think it's brilliant. That's my favorite. Okay, Monkees, real quick.
We got to give Dr. Funkenstein.
Wait a minute. The Good Doctor's here.
Yeah, just one above. Hello, everyone. It's been long.
Oh my God, the Good Doctor! Where have you been?
She's got some bad news here for us. She's got Guillain-Barré syndrome, terrible stuff. So Dr. Funkenstein, our sincere condolences, which sounds like a very debilitating condition. So is it related to MS or one of those kind of things? I'm not familiar with it by name, although Barr seems to be a thing, like a name that it sounds vaguely familiar.
I appreciate you coming on the Good Doctor because I wondered what happened to him.
Yeah.
But you got to do what you have to do. Take care of that girlfriend. You're doing what you need to do. But it's nice to see you back.
Connery's last Bond film, Never Say Never, correct? That was that.
Yeah, Frampton's coming back around. I thought he retired, but evidently he's...
Frampton had a muscular degenerative condition too, doesn't he?
This is
Aggie. Aggie's actually, he's a medical doctor. Yeah, Aggie's a doctor of internal medicine.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh my God!
Please hit the like button and sub, everyone. I appreciate everybody coming in. We love to just shoot the shit because you come over here. We get Rachel over here, and we talk music. That's what we talk about.
Yeah, It's fun to do, and I enjoy your company, Graham.
It's fun. We will keep doing it. The Good Doctor, yeah, sorry to hear about it. It's nice to see you, though, Good Doctor, though.
So he said
Marlon.
the immune system attacks your nerves with this particular condition. Horrible. I got some of these autoimmune things I get, like the tips of my fingers get frayed. The skin on them gets really frayed easily.
God.
And it's like, because I play guitar, so my fingers start bleeding. I got blisters on my fingers.
Literally, you have blisters on your fingers.
Literally, they open up and it's just a mess. So I have to tape up or do something. It's just it's a mess. It really hinders my playing.
Hey, Good Doctor, if you ever need to get away, come over, hang out in the warehouse. You're always welcome if you ever need to get away. You know that. So
yeah.
Frank Marino retired. Yeah. Left a big hole.
Yeah, Marino's with is that Mahogany Rush?
Yeah.
Is his thing? Yeah.
Canadian legend. Yeah, I don't know. What was the other thing?
Yeah, Mahogany Rush. See, that's another band that I never got into. It wasn't in my wheelhouse back in the day. Just there's so many bands out there. You just get into some, you don't get into everything. Like Cream, I was into Cream as a kid. I loved them. So they were over there. I was rocking with them. Oh, and Queen. When Queen came out in '74 with Killer Queen, holy crap, did I ever rock with those things? I love Queen.
Did you ever see Queen back in the day?
No, never got.
I have a buddy who saw him on Queen 2 tour at the Newport Music Hall, which was it used to be called the Agora. So if anybody knows how big of an Agora is in the States,
wide open thing,
but it's not that big. But Queen played the Agora, and I guess it was just unbelievable.
I respect Queen because they have such a unique, individual, distinctive sound. Like some bands you hear and you go, "Who's that?" You don't know. Queen, right away. Oh, that's Queen. They were so distinctive with their sound.
Frampton Comes Alive too is good. I have that.
Yeah.
Anything with Peter Frampton live, he always brings it. What a great guitar player! I could listen to him over and over. I just love it. God, he's good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Star will be watching everyone because I'll be in a hip brace for 6 weeks.
We wish you.
Well, you're a captive audience then.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Teenage Head Toronto, punk band, kind of new punk, I guess. Almost.
Oh no. Oh, Marlon, that is wrong. That is wrong. Yeah, I can see your smiley face.
Play the game.
That's where the cracks started to form, ladies and gentlemen. The game. I told you that. Did I ever tell you that story when my buddies and I were big Queen fans when we were kids, and when the game came out, one of our parents took us to the store to buy it, and we all bought one. And we went home and we went to someone's house and we put it on the record player. This is like 1980, so I was like 14, 15. Love Queen. I had a big, huge Queen poster on my wall. But we played that album and we all looked at each other like, what the hell just happened? This isn't what we know and love.
No synthesizers.
Well, there are synthesizers.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing, right?
But still, it just, some of the song, well, we did a show on it. It's just, it's okay. It's not my favorite.
Yeah.
I can listen to it and not go in the corner and vomit, but some of it.
Okay, so the game's got Crazy Little Thing Called Love on it, right?
Yeah.
Which was that's a rockabilly thing, so that was kind of different. Freddie changed his image right in, out, and around that time. So when the video for that came, people went, "Oh, okay, there's a whole new look for Freddie Mercury with the mustache and everything." Right?
I never played Tennis Racket to the game album. No, there's not all that much guitar, but of the guitar, at least Brian May is still bringing it on that record because all his songs are great. Mm-hmm. Don't Try Suicide. Yeah, I know it's a good message. I get it, but crappy song. You should have had the B-side. What was the B-side of one of those? Roger Taylor songs would have been a better song. Sometimes I just can't think of it off the top of my head. I'm pretty good most of the time. What more? That wasn't the only rockabilly I know. I actually prefer Hot Space more than the game. I know that's controversial.
Hot Space also comes in for its share. criticism. But Hot Space had Under Pressure on it, I think, right?
And that blows away anything as far as I'm concerned.
That's
You
a
know,
great
on the
song.
game. Brilliant. Absolutely
Well,
brilliant.
yeah, but the whole rockabilly thing, because Stray Cats were happening. Neil Young had come out with Shocking Pinks. So it was this whole rockabilly revival thing happening around that period of time, which makes sense given the age of the generation of the 1950s, those people getting older and looking back on the 50s that way, somewhat nostalgically, right?
I could do that. I'm thinking about it, John. That's a
Yeah.
great idea. I am thinking about it. Get a group on and have different people come in, but have different panels. That'd be good. Put Out the Fire is a great song. There, I like that. That was on Hot Space. That's Put Out the Fire. Is that yeah, I like that. That's good. All right. We're gonna wind this up. They just came out with Queen Funko Pops. What's a Funko Pop? From the
I'll
video.
show you one. I got one. It was just gifted to me. This is Captain Kirk. I love Star Trek Classic, Star Trek, the original. That's my Trek because I'm a kid. But there's Captain Kirk in the chair. But they're like little baby faces. But they're the familiar pop culture things. A lot of Marvel comic books, movie characters, rock
I
artists,
don't get it.
bands. They're just little like I don't know, how do you put it? They're decor to kind of exemplify and highlight the kind of thing that you're into musically or culturally. Star Trek's a big deal for me. I love the damn thing. I even played a Klingon captain in Hollywood when they did the Paramount tour. You could go audition. They were trying to show you how to make a movie, and you had to audition. The starring role was the Klingon captain. Typically, I won the damn audition, so that was the thing. I got film clip. I'll try and dig it out somewhere. Put it online for you kids to laugh at.
Thanks, Marlon, because I know you hate everything, so you like the show. I appreciate it. I'm glad we can entertain you.
Marlon.
I mean, Rachel will be back next month, but hopefully by then,
yes,
we'll find a name for the show.
We should have a contest. Help us get a name for our TV show.
Good idea.
Grant, thank you so much.
That'd be better. Put it on put a poll. Well, how would we do that? You get a lot more people.
Yeah.
You did pretty good tonight, though.
Well, we have a good round, How many did we get tonight?
Like 40 some. That's okay.
That's pretty good.
We're competing with Schnee right now, so
shit, we don't stand a chance. He's the best in the business.
He gave me hell, like I said on the channel today. He said,
well, Steve,
I would have canceled my show had I known two bigger channels were going to go on.
Popular too. Dag nabbit.
I wish I could see Born to Die live tomorrow. Well, just do it. Get your priorities straight, Dan.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, just yes. My email is
private.
No, it's at rock. It's what is it? rockwarehouse@gmail.com. All one word.
Yeah.
With house like HAUS though. Sure, contact me. All right. So if you haven't subscribed to Rachel's channel, please do so. Go check out her content. You will be live again tomorrow.
Yeah, but hold on. I got to give an award a warning.
Go ahead.
I like Trump. If you can't stand Trump, you're worried about it. You don't have to subscribe. Don't worry about it. I understand fully, but I got it full disclosure. I don't want to, I'm one of the few. Somebody has to like him, and I'm one of them. Okay, I think the warning has been given, so now they can all go, oh, I'll avoid that. Thank you for the warning. And so that'll all be good. But other than that, those that can handle that, come on over and have a laugh with us.
So I probably ought to go over to Schnee's channel and apologize. I only told him we'd go an hour.
Yeah.
But
anyway. All right.
We'll see you, Rachel. Thanks for coming on. I'll book something here soon. We'll do it again. We will have a name for our show, and we will be back, and we will continue on our series.
Ron wants your email in the chat now.
Can you put it in the chat? Okay.
Okay. So much work for you. Okay. Well, I guess I'll just get the hell out of here and leave you to business, Grant.
I guess so. There it is, right there.
Okay.
All right, cool. Rachel, we'll see you. Thanks, everybody in the chat. We couldn't do it without you, and we do it because, well, we love music.
Love you. Yes.
Yeah, we love everybody. All right, everybody. We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Grant.
You got it.